Is there a hidden secret that you're actually missing or not quite understanding when it comes to trading the future markets? Okay. Is there really a holy grail to this whole process of trying to figure out, which way do I trade? Because maybe you're not profitable. Maybe you're blowing or wasting your own personal capital, blowing your own funded account, or maybe one of the prop firm funded accounts. Maybe you have passed a couple of evaluations or challenges, but you simply just can't find success in holding on to a funded account. All right. Stop wasting money, first and foremost. You want to find a system, a strategy that actually works so that you can become profitable, right? So that you can become consistently making money on a daily basis. Again, there's no secret to trading, all right? No, a holy grail that you really need to nail down or understand. I'm going to share with you today just a simple components that will transform you in just a short period of time from maybe you're not successful to possibly becoming profitable and successful. Now, I can't guarantee anything to anyone. I'll say that because everybody is different and there's so many factors that take place or come into play when it comes to trading. All right. Now, I do have a community. It's the Discord. And if you're interested in joining, the link is down in the description portion of the video. But we do have traders that are doing well, that are using the same strategy that I pretty much discuss and use in my own personal trading each and every day. There's a testimonial section there. You can take a look at it. But basically the strategy and how I use, it's very simple, guys. First and foremost, trading shouldn't be, don't make it too hard. Don't make it too overcomplicated. Don't be adding a bunch of indicators to your charts, thinking that you need a MACD or RSI or stochastics or whatever it may be to put you in a position, or maybe that is the holy grail for you to become profitable. Maybe you think that having all these EMAs or SMAs that is going to, give you the green light you need for every trade you take. No, that's the furthest from the truth. The truth from the matter, the truth from the pudding is really understanding market structure. Okay, let me say that again. Market structure is singly the most important concept to the basic means of actually trading. I'm going to share with you today just a simple strategy, that I use on a daily day when it comes to trading supply and demand, aggressive areas of buying, aggressive areas of selling. We're looking for breaks of structure, areas where the market has pushed above and taken out either a low at the market, a high at the market is breaking structure to the upside, or a magical low if the market is breaking to the downside. Again, you don't need a magical wand or a crystal ball to be able to determine which way to trade. It's right here on the charts, okay? So what I could recommend to anyone out there or suggest, if you're struggling, do like I did, many, many years ago when I was frustrated and trying to, make some money. It was like a seesaw effect. I was up a couple dollars, down a couple dollars, and eventually I just stopped because I figured out that it was market structure I was not comprehending, all right? The overall direction of the market, trying to figure out which way do I need to trade. If we are bullish and trending to the upside, only be looking for key pullbacks to, key areas of demand. And then the same thing in inverse of if we are pushing to the downside. Again, stop wasting your money until you have actually, found a strategy, okay, or created one that works for you. You can use the one that I'm getting ready to show you right now that, should help you, in time. I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight. And please, if you think that you're just going to jump into this and start making money overnight, do yourself the biggest favor, stop right now, okay? Trading takes as much hard work as it is, to do anything else in life, all right? Okay, so I'm here to share with you a strategy that maybe curb that edge, okay, the amount of time you need. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's video, surrounding this futures trading strategy that can help you stop wasting your own hard-earned money. Now, what is the number one thing that you need to comprehend first? Market structure. You need to identify from a higher base chart which way to trade, either up or down, okay? When the market's moving sideways, because it can only move three ways, up, down, and sideways, try to stay out of the market when you're in between, say, a major high or a major low. Unless you know how to trade the in-between where the market is breaking structure or minor areas of structure, okay? I'll talk about that tons of time. The strategy works. We have people that are part of our community that use it each and every day. A lot of them are part of the elite or the ultra elite supporter tier or the membership program. And I'll talk more about that towards the end because it may be something you want to take interest in and join yourself because it's very, very inexpensive. No, I'm not here to charge hundreds or thousands of dollars for something that's very, very simple to actually learn. But what you're doing is support my efforts as a not only a trader, but as a content creator. And I provide you basically the strategy and the tool sets, meaning the educational components in reference to how I personally trade. Now, if you choose to use it or not, but it's very inexpensive. I'm talking about pennies on the dollar a day to become an elite or an ultra elite supporter, and you get a lot of valuable information surrounding the strategies that you can put to test for yourself by back testing and forward testing it on the charts. Okay. Now, all you need to do is depict whatever higher chart you're going to use. I use range charts. Okay. For me, all I'm doing is looking at what direction is the market moving in overall. What is it trending? How is it trending? Is it up or down or moving sideways? Okay. I'm going to show you two examples today of the strategy in play, okay, and what to look for from a standpoint of a supply zone and a demand zone. Now, if you don't understand what those two concepts are, then I would highly recommend stopping right now. Either going to the channel here, my channel, and just querying certain topics of information that you may want to learn. I'm sure you're going to find some valuable content, but you need to understand what supply and demand is first and foremost. Okay, it's aggressive buying and aggressive areas of selling. Look, if we're bullish to the upside, making highs, higher lows, and higher highs, only look for opportunities in which to trade going long. Okay, please kind of take your focus off of like the boxes and arrows and things. I have my charts marked up for a particular reason when I'm trading throughout the session, just kind of marking up key areas that I'm interested in. And that's highly important. That's really important when it comes to this actual strategy, because you always want to start with the higher chart, whether you're trading time or range charts, whatever it may be, to depict, again, if we're trending upwards, mark a demand zone first and foremost off your higher chart, whatever that chart is, okay? For me, I'm looking at, I say the market is bullish to the upside, then I'll be looking for demand setups to take, marking up first on my higher chart, and then scaling down or moving down to a lower base chart to take or look for an opportunity off a demand zone on a lower base chart to go long. Now, if the market shifts, for example, like right here, we got where it's making lows, lower highs, lows, okay, but then it comes back up and it slightly breaks this area structure, okay, but then the market comes down and starts making lows, lower highs, lows, lower highs, and then pushing lower, and we take out this low right here. So basically we have where the market made a low, lower high. It was running, just very shortly to the downside, but it did make a low here. Then the market goes back up and makes a high right there. So we broke structure to the upside. But then we come back down where we're showing bearish sentiment, lows, lower highs, lows, lower highs. So we're in a small channel with a bearish channel to the downside, and we break below this low right here, okay? So we break and make a new low. Again, I would be interested in this area here because supply took place right here, meaning aggressive selling that took out that area structure, that low, okay? There was a low coming to the downside. The market turned back around and broke structure, but then it came back down, and we broke below this low right here. We made a new low, and it left behind this a beautiful area of supply coming to the downside, with a what? A gap or imbalance. What does that mean? That makes the trade high probability when there's an imbalance or gap resting back at the actual zone. Now, if you're a little confused about the gap and the imbalance in relation to the actual strategy, I talk about that on plenty videos here on the channel, so please spend some time watching the video content. Again, anything that you're in question of, if you go to the homepage of the channel here on YouTube, use the magnifying glass, click on it, and type in your topic, there will be video content that will populate surrounding, keywords like supply demand, like gaps, fair value gaps, imbalances. They're all the same thing. You'll find video content there, guys. All right. So with all that said there, this is a high probability setup right here. Okay, there's an imbalance on this candle right here, back at the supply zone, right here. Okay, now the market retraces back to it. I am definitely looking for an opportunity to actually go short, but not from the higher range chart. So number one, to pick the market direction. Are we taking out highs? Are we running lows? If we're running lows, then you should be looking for supply setups. We ran a low here, looking for supply setups where there's aggressive selling. Mark up your higher base chart first. Then scale down to a lower base chart, and as the market is retracing back to that higher chart zone you marked up, start looking to see if you can find maybe a supply zone on the inside of the actual larger zone right here. So it's called multi-chart confluence. Marking up zones off the higher range, after we determine which way to actually trade, for taking out highs or lows, and then marking it up and then moving down to a lower base chart. Now here we go. Let's round things out as far as with the strategy here. Okay, the supply. This is that low we saw right here. The market starts to retrace back up to it. Okay, so as it's doing that, this is on a lower chart now. This is my 24 range chart. I trade using the NASDAQ. I'm trading 120 using that's my higher range, and then or higher chart, and then my lower range chart is going to be the 24, which I make my entries on. As it's retracing back to the actual larger box, which is that higher base zone, okay, higher chart zone, I'm looking to see if we got a nice, beautiful area of supply, okay? Right here, I see that we've got a breaker structure lower. We have a small area of supply right here, okay, a little small area of supply right here, market tested right there. And then I'm looking for rejection, because we have confluence there. We have a higher range zone, demand zone, supply zone, and then a lower range supply zone. Again, a higher range chart supply zone, and then a lower range chart supply zone. Both of them are high probability zones. Okay. Now, what happens here when the market gets there? It does react out here. It slightly breaks with maybe the wick of that, with the wick of that candle right there. I'm trying to say. So this was a supply setup, okay, as what it was, but the market wicked right above it. It didn't close and break above it. They wicked it, grabbed liquidity, and then ran lower. Okay, so you have like a supply and a liquidity setup here, like a 2-for-1 pretty much. Okay, so this was a nice area to look for opportunity to trade from. Plus, also you had confluence with that 40 level, like the 40 and 70. They're hidden pivot levels when it comes to trading the indices, and a lot of people don't know that. But the market likes to react. If you go back and do some back testing, you'll see like around the 40 and the 70 areas, the market loves to react at those areas. But we have multi-chart confluence here, a higher range chart and a lower range chart, both of them high probability setups, okay? So that's a nice area of supply, and you go short, all right? What we're going to look for, look for maybe the low to be taken out right here, but you got to understand, I always say this, pay attention to price action when the market's retracing back to the zone to see, are there swings with the market or areas of demand, say below, where the market could actually react at, like right here. This was a demand area. So the market reacted off of that supply area and came down pretty much and moved back towards that demand area right there, okay? So be careful with a situation like that. Now, here's a nice demand setup that actually took place today. The market then went back to the upside right here, as you can see, and it broke above the highs here. So if you see here, remember what I said? We had a higher low, slightly broke structure here, came back, grabbed this low right here, and then we pushed back upside to the upside to break and make a new high right here. What did it do? It left behind this beautiful area of high probability demand. There's a gap on this candle right here. So there's a high probability demand zone resting right here. All we need to do at that point, once we mark up the demand zone, is as it's retracing back, we move down to our lower base chart. Let's go down to it right quick. All right, again, this is the demand zone, the higher chart, the higher range chart. Look, market's retracing back to the zone. All right, it taps the high probability, higher range zone first. But we also have a beautiful area of demand, aggressive buying here, okay, where the market started running back to the upside and taking structure out. So we have that multi-chart confluence, a zone within a zone, okay? Higher range demand zone marked up. Then you have a beautiful area of demand where you can mark up right here, and it has a small area of imbalance resting back at, again, the lower range chart, the 24 range chart demand zone. We're looking for them to react here. We can go back and look at the higher range chart to see where we can possibly take a trade going back to the actual upside. All right, so in this case here, there's actually two imbalances. The imbalance resting on this candle here, back up to basically up to this area right here at 25,181. But you also have an imbalance or gap on this candle here, back up to the area of 190 or 191. So you can aim for, one or both of those moving back to the upside once you get the rejection off the lower base chart. We get the rejection back right here, and we can look to aim for at least try to take it back up to fill the imbalances back to the inside right here off of this candle and this candle right here, because that's what we're doing. When you're trading, you either looking for the market when you're trading to maybe use a risk reward, 1-to-1, 1-to-2, whatever, 1-to-3, whatever it may be, or If you notice you got price action right above you, maybe a supply area, take it back up to the area of supply. Where does a imbalance resting at? And meaning I'm looking for is this a high probability supply zone resting right above me where I'm taking my trade off this demand zone? Yes. There's a gap attached from this candle and this candle here. I'm looking to take the trade back up to here and possibly up to this area here at 191. So if you got into the trade, say for example, let's just say you got in after the second momentum bullish candle right here at 166. Guys, look, your stop goes on the back end here and you take the trade back up to at least 191 and capitalize on all those points going back to the upside. And this is straight off the 24 range chart, which typically trading like a lower chart, you probably want to get about maybe a 10-point scalp, just depending on what price action looks like when it's coming back to the zone. Very simple, nothing complex about it. It's just multi-chart confluence, market up, but we're still using supply and demand. Marking up a higher chart and then scaling down to a lower base chart, right? Define either a supply or a demand within a demand setup, all right? So hopefully that makes sense. Now, if you're interested in becoming an elite or ultra elite supporter, that's where the cornerstone, the bluestone to how I really trade is broken down, okay? Like today, I posted a few trade setups that I took. I pretty much do that every single day, but I go back and I break it down in detail, those trades down in detail for our elite and our ultra elite supporters so that you can understand the basis, the premises, my mindset of why I took those trades. I'm analyzing market structure. I'm looking at price action. I'm trying to find levels or zones that make sense surrounding supply and demand. And I break it down in the simplest form so you can understand what I was looking at when I took these trades at these particular zones, okay? But I also cover profit target areas for each trade, where to take profit at, and stop loss placement. So you're getting a lot of valuable information because to me, that's where the importance of the content comes from. Bringing into the fold these trade setups and breaking them down so you can grasp and understand, because eventually it starts to click that you see and understand what to look for, okay? Then you back test and forward test it on your own as you're back testing on your charts, all right? You got to put in the work, put in the time. Pen and pad, take some notes as well. But you also receive all the trade breakdown videos, and I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of them that you can watch, as well as the video playlist and the market structure video for anyone that's struggling with that concept. Now, if you want to take it one notch up, you can also you can also become an ultra elite supporter. And what you receive with that is just everything I just discussed, plus the live recorded trading sessions. Okay. All right. So the choice is yours. The link is down in the description portion of the video. If you really want to learn and understand, how I personally trade each and every day. Now I'll say this as a disclaimer. I'm not guaranteeing, and nor can I guarantee anything to anyone out there, because listen, trading is very speculative. All I can do is provide a strategy and share with you a strategy that works for me. But you got to put the time in to find out if it's going to work for you or not. Just as maybe you probably pay someone else a few $100s or thousands of dollars to take part in their course or learn a strategy they have. I'm not here to do that, guys. I'm here to share with you something that works if you put the time in and, for pennies on the dollar. I'm talking about that's very, very inexpensive. The link is down in the description portion of the video. It's titled Ultra Elite Supporter. Once you click on that, you're going to see how inexpensive it is. You'll see 3 tiers pop up. So either choose the elite or the ultra elite tier. Once you click on each one of those tiers, it's going to lay out and let you know what the perks and rewards are for each tier. So the choice is yours. But again, it's very inexpensive. You'll see when you click on it. All right. But that's all I have, guys. I appreciate everyone tuning in, watching the video for today, and spending time watching other videos on the channel. If you haven't taken the time to sub or subscribe to the channel just yet, please make sure to do so right now. What are you waiting for? It's free. Okay. As soon as you do that, make sure to click the bell, which is the post notification bell, so that you do not miss any of the uploaded content here on the channel. And if you found value in today's video, make sure to drop a like on the video. Okay. Appreciate it. Take care. I'll see everyone in the next trading video.